Hi, and welcome to Psychology of Learning in Action. Today, I'm going to go over some practical strategies that can be very effective in helping kids build habits and self regulation. But before going over these strategies, I want you to remember two principles. Number one, the distractions that kids are dealing with today are completely different from the types of distractions um, we had in school years ago. So kids are now surrounded by a lot of games, interactive games, AI apps, social media, and countless other attention grabbing tools that have been carefully designed to be exciting, to be addictive, and very hard to put down. And number two, please remember that self regulation is not something we are born with, it's not something implemented within us. We have to work so hard to choose what's important and productive over what's easy. So, like it's much easier to eat pizza rather than going for a jog, going to the gym and be active. And there are many other examples. So, knowing that kids are going through these two challenges um, allows you to establish a very compassionate and empathic relationship before coming up with any plans or schedules for them. Because there is not just one recipe for creating habits. This is all about relationships, it's all about understanding, it's all about love. So if you think there is something wrong or there is a problem that needs to be modified or solved, you need to ask your children to sit down with you, to discuss it with you, and you want to make sure they are aware of the problem. For example, if they play too much computer games, you want to talk to them. Say, this is not good. This is damaging. You don't have a balanced life. And when you logically explain the problem to them and they are convinced, then you can together with your kids can come up with a plan um, that is gentle and it works over time. And because they are convinced, they are going to cooperate. So you're not just going to give them a bunch of advice like blah, 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 do's and don'ts. You're not the boss. This is not the boss and employee relationship. Make sure that your kids are completely aware that you care. What you do is out of love and compassion, and you really want them to improve. So you are there to support them, to provide guidance and encouragement. After building this relationship, then you can go ahead with evidence based strategies that I'm going to go over. So, number one, you always want to start very, very small. So, let's just go back to that example like kids play too much computer games. If they don't read and they're not used to it, you want to come up with something very light, like 10 minutes per day or 15 minutes every other day. Okay, do not go with something complicated or very elaborated at the beginning. Don't forget the baby steps. Number two, you want to make sure that you have a very clear structure because structure gives clarity. Um, the 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever plan you have, it has to be at a specific time. For example, every day or every other day at 4:30 or after dinner. Because when kids have a very clear plan, they don't have to go through the process of decision making, which is time consuming and takes a lot of energy. Number three, feel free to use external supports and tools. If you want them to move from one activity to the other, make sure you remind them a little bit in advance. Again, back to the example of gaming, if they're supposed to play for 1 hour and then read, after 40 minutes, go to their room and remind them. And if you're not around, make sure they have a timer on their computer and they are reminded. And this is called scaffolding in educational psychology. And it's something you need at the beginning, but not forever. After you internalize a habit, it's so much easier to just go ahead without specific tools. Number four, please make sure you celebrate effort and not the outcomes, especially at the beginning, because old habits are very strong. And in the transition to building something new, there are going to be a lot of disappointments and frustrations along the way. So you might work very hard. I mean, the kids can work very hard and still they don't see any results. You got to be there. You got to make sure they are patient, they are calm, and you praise their efforts. You appreciate their efforts. Eventually, the results will come. And probably the most crucial one is that you yourself want to model self-regulation, because children learn by watching. They follow actions more than words. So if you keep giving them advice about the benefits of eating healthy and you eat a lot of junk food, your advice is not going to work. Right? Your behavior speaks much louder than any chart, any rule, or any advice. So please be mindful of that as well. And at the end, please remember that self-regulation is not about perfection at all. It's about progress. So always start with baby steps, be very consistent, and make sure you teach your kids to be calm and patient and be aware of all the challenges that may come along the way. I promise you're going to see meaningful results in a very short period of time. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.